I was always a bit different. Growing up on a ranch in the middle of nowhere, with nothing but wide open spaces and cattle as far as the eye could see, I didn't quite fit the mold of what a girl was supposed to be. While other girls played with dolls, I spent my time learning how to rope cattle, fix fences, and ride horses. My name is Cassidy Jane, and I wanted to be a professional bull rider. I knew it was a crazy dream. People laughed when I told them. They said a girl couldn't handle the rough and tumble world of bull riding, that it was a sport for tough, rugged men who didn't mind getting tossed around like rag dolls by a 2,000-pound beast. But the more they told me I couldn't do it, the more determined I became. My parents didn't really know what to make of me. My mom tried to get me interested in more girly activities, but it never stuck. My dad, on the other hand, saw something in me. He was the one who taught me how to ride a horse, how to stay on when it bucked, and how to get back up when I hit the ground. He was a rodeo man himself back in the day, and he knew what it took to succeed in that world. But bull riding was different. It was dangerous, and it wasn't something girls did. The few who tried were often ridiculed or dismissed. I knew this, but I didn't care. I wanted to prove that I could do it, that I could be just as tough, just as skilled, and just as fearless as any man out there. So I practiced. I practiced every day, getting up before the sun to ride the wildest horses on our ranch. I set up a barrel in the yard and pretended it was a bull, practicing my balance and my grip until my hands were raw. But no matter how hard I worked, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was holding me back. The looks people gave me, the whispers behind my back, the doubt that crept into my own mind, it was like a weight I couldn't get rid of. That's when I stumbled upon something that changed everything. I was out in town one day, picking up supplies, when I overheard a conversation between two women. They were talking about something called manifestation, about how your thoughts could shape your reality. One of them mentioned a man named Bashar who talked about the power of belief and positive vibes. Sounded like a bunch of nonsense at first, but something about it stuck with me. That night, I looked up Bashar and started reading about his teachings. The more I read, the more it made sense. He talked about how the universe responds to the energy you put out, how if you believe in something strongly enough, it will come to you. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. I realized that all the doubt, all the negativity I'd been feeling was holding me back. I had been telling myself that I couldn't do it, and the universe was responding to that. So I decided to change my mindset. Every night before bed, I started visualizing myself as a successful bull rider. I saw myself winning competitions, earning respect from other riders, and proving everyone wrong. I imagined the roar of the crowd, the feel of the bull beneath me, and the thrill of staying on for the full 8 seconds. I told myself that I was strong, that I was capable, and that I deserved to be there just as much as anyone else. First, it felt silly, but as the days went by, something started to shift. I noticed that I was more confident, that the doubts that used to plague me were starting to fade away. I started to feel like maybe, just maybe, I could do this. And then came the day of the competition. It was a small local rodeo, but for me it was everything. I was the only girl competing, and the looks I got from the other riders told me all I needed to know about what they thought of my chances. But I didn't let it bother me. I had been preparing for this moment, not just physically but mentally. I knew I could do it. When my turn came, I walked out into the arena with my head held high. The bull I was set to ride was a mean one. known for throwing riders off within seconds. But I wasn't scared. I had already seen this moment in my mind 100 times. As I climbed onto the bull's back, I took a deep breath and focused on the feeling of success, on the energy I wanted to put out into the universe. The gate opened, and the bull exploded out, bucking and twisting with all its might. But I held on. I held on tighter than I ever had before, my body moving with the bull, my mind calm and focused. The 8 seconds felt like an eternity, but when the buzzer finally sounded, I was still on. I had done it. Crowd erupted in cheers, and for the first time I felt like I truly belonged. From that day on, everything changed. People started to take me seriously, and I began to win more competitions. I didn't just prove that I could ride with the best of them, I proved that I could beat them. I was no longer just Cassidy Jane, the girl who wanted to be a bull rider. I was Cassidy Jane, the bull rider. Competitions got bigger, the stakes higher, but I never lost that sense of belief that Bashar had taught me. Every night, I continued to visualize my success, to send out positive energy into the universe, and it continued to respond. I started to attract sponsors, and eventually I was competing at the national level. But it wasn't just about winning anymore. It was about inspiring others, especially other girls who had dreams that didn't fit into the box society tried to put them in. I started to speak out about my journey, about how the power of belief had changed my life and how it could change theirs too. And it did. I began to see more and more girls entering the world of rodeo, not just as spectators but as competitors. They told me that I had inspired them, that seeing me succeed had made them believe they could too. It was the most incredible feeling in the world, knowing that I had made a difference. But the biggest competition of my life was still ahead. The National Finals Rodeo was the pinnacle of bull riding, and it was my dream to win it. I knew the competition would be fierce, but I was ready. I had been preparing for this moment, both physically and mentally, for years. The day of the finals, I was nervous, but I didn't let it show. I knew I had done everything I could to get to this point, and now it was time to trust in the process. As I walked into the arena, I took a moment to center myself, to focus on the energy I wanted to create. I could feel the weight of the moment, but I didn't let it overwhelm me. When my name was called, I walked out into the arena with confidence. The bull I was set to ride was one of the toughest in the competition, but I didn't let that faze me. I had faced tougher challenges before, and I knew I could do this. As I climbed onto the bull's back, I closed my eyes for just a second and visualized the ride. I saw myself holding on, staying calm, and riding to victory. The gate opened, and the bull shot out like a rocket, twisting and bucking with all its might. But I was ready. I moved with the bull, my body in perfect sync with every twist and turn. The 8 seconds seemed to stretch out forever, but I didn't lose focus. I held on, determined to see this through to the end. And when the buzzer finally sounded, I was still there, still holding on. I had done it. I had won the National Finals Rodeo. Crowd erupted in cheers, and I felt a surge of emotion wash over me. I had worked so hard for this moment, and now it was finally here. As I walked out of the arena, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride, not just in what I had accomplished, but in the journey that had brought me here. I knew that this was just the beginning. There were still more competitions to win, more challenges to face, but I was ready for them. I had learned that the power of belief could take me anywhere, and I wasn't going to let anything stand in my way. As I stood on the podium, holding my trophy, I looked out at the crowd and saw a sea of faces, young girls looking up at me with hope and inspiration in their eyes. I knew that I had not just won a competition, I had paved the way for others to follow their dreams, no matter how impossible they seemed. And that, more than anything, was the greatest victory of all.